What's up guys, welcome back to another episode on the channel. Thanks for joining me once again. In this video, we are going to be talking about the EOS-R. Now this is a new interchangeable lens mirrorless camera from Canon. Now this camera has some controversial elements and I think some also really positive elements. So in this video, I want to cover some of the things I've really liked about this camera after using it for a while. And later down the road, I'm going to do a full review, sort of getting into some of the details. So give this video a thumbs up or a comment if you would like to see sort of a full review on this down the road. The first thing that I like about this camera is the photo quality. If you're a photographer and that's what you're buying this camera for, I think you are in great shape because everything about this from a photo perspective is really top notch. The autofocus performs well. The resolution from the 30 megapixel sensor I think looks fantastic, and the colors are exactly what you'd expect from a Canon camera. Now, the next thing that I think is really well done and also kind of goes in line with that is the quality of the EVF or electronic viewfinder and the screen on the camera. They've included a flip out screen that tilts in all directions. Now this is really handy for photo or video. The EVF is also really high quality. The colors and the reproduction of what you see on the screen is top notch and you can really rely on it, and I think in my experience it's been a really good representation of what the final images in the camera look like when you get them onto your computer. When it comes to video, this is where it starts to get fairly controversial, but the thing that I will give them a lot of credit for is that they've included C-Log 8-bit recording on the memory card or 10-bit recording to an external recorder. Now having C-Log is nice if you like to do a lot of color grading and want to do sort of creative stuff with the footage that you take. It does fit better into sort of some professional workflows, and I do think it's a positive that they give you that built into this camera. It's not an upcharge or an extra feature, but you also get some negatives when it comes to video, like the crop factor and some of the stuff with 4K, but that is a story for another day. In addition to that, the performance of the lenses with the adapter that they have out right now is really top notch. It gives basically what I feel like is native performance on the existing EF lenses. Now I used this L lens on here and the autofocus is really snappy, it's responsive, and with the dual pixel, even on video, the autofocus performance seems to really be just exactly the same as it would on a DSLR. And it's nice when they've sort of switched up the lens mount and introduced a whole new lens system that's going to be coming, to know that you can still get really good performance from the existing lenses. So I give them credit for sort of giving us that option if we want it. They finally also have rethought the UI of these cameras, so they've changed some of the buttons, and the big thing to me is that they've changed that little LCD screen on the top and replaced it with this always on sort of Kindle-like or e-ink display that gives you all of your settings. I really like the new approach to it. It's just much easier to read, I think, in sunlight and at different angles, and it shows all the information in a way that I think is easier to digest than that old viewfinder or little screen that they had on the top. The last little bonus thing that I will say I noticed is the sensor is covered if you're changing a lens or the camera is powered off. So this protects the sensor from any sort of dust getting in there or scratching it if your hand slips when you're trying to put a lens on. And if you use the adapter like I do with the Sony cameras, it just always makes you nervous because the sensor is just right there exposed as you're trying to put the lens on. So with this, you don't have to worry about that quite as much. They give you a little layer of protection on there, and I think that that was really thoughtful and sort of peace of mind when you're dealing with an expensive camera like this. So all in all, there's a lot of positives that I've found with this camera so far. But like I said, tons of things that also need to be discussed and tested further, and some oversights that it looks like they've made in kind of maybe typical fashion lately for Canon. But there are a lot of positives to this, and if you'd like to see that full review like I mentioned, or have any questions, leave a comment or a thumbs up on the video. I really appreciate all the support on the channel, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.